I think I'm gonna do a new series, just vlogging. I guess I can call it my meta blog, metaphysics blog, whatever. And this first episode would be Ybor. I went out last night. I was a little coy here. I said the two roosters are me and my friend. Um, Maybe it'll make sense to you why. And of course, Mercury's pulling the reins. Anyway, tell you in a second. This is me at the club last night. Um, that's me with my hand, and that's the DJ right there in front of me. Um, we'll get to it. So I went out with my boy last night. This is a new friend. This is like probably the first time or second time that we're chilling solo, really. Getting to know each other. He's a Gemini. He's really cool. And we got invited out to a bar/club in Ybor, which is the city in Central Florida, or the club town, club city, whatever. So the night was all right. I had to kind of pick myself up to go. I was really debating staying home, but I said whatever. On my way, I picked my boy up. He's like about 40 or 50 minutes away, and that was cool. Got to enjoy my ride. And when I picked him up, it was cool too. We're still getting to know each other, and we clicked pretty fast because we like, just talking and stuff. So the ride was smooth. It was pretty cool. We get to the city, and apparently they're closing Gasparilla. I don't know if it's the close for the week or the month. I don't know. I've never done that. But it was ending as soon as we were getting there. We didn't realize that it would affect parking. Not spatially, but by cost. We're used to getting the Ybor, $5, $8, $10 parking, $15 tops. We get there, first parking spot, $50. No. Let's check the garage. $20. Peculiar, but no. We pass some more lots. We try the third one. I get out and ask the lady at the kiosk, how much is it here? 50. And you have to use the app because the kiosk doesn't work. We drive around some more. We get to a fourth parking. This is it. Let's download the app. Okay, solid. Put in my phone number. They want the verification. Put in my email. They want the verification. Weird. Frustrating. But we're doing it. Next thing that happens, error. Can't go any further. I gotta take a side note here. Tampa, Ybor, Florida. Stop worrying about pickleball. Stop destroying the environment. Stop cutting down the trees. Leave the aquifers alone. Fix the potholes on Bellamy Brothers Road. Fix the apps. Get rid of the costs. Open up some $5 parking lots, because I saw a bunch on the outskirts, if you really want to squeeze money out of poor people. My point being that this entire state is run shoddily. So there's nothing we can really do at this point. Interestingly enough, before we had left, I went to Google. AI told me that there's free streets for parallel parking. You just gotta find them. We were on the outskirts where the highway starts to hit. We finally found one of those streets. We both said, here's a bunch of cars parked. There's no signs. Let's pull in. Somebody was doing the same thing. They were either pulling in or pulling out. I said, bro, get out and ask him. And he asked him, he said, we're good to park here. Knocked $50 off the bat. I guess the important message here is find you some meetable friends who can do that type of stuff, or some cappy buddies. We shaved off $50 right there. And so we parked, we got out. I was in a better mood, so I said, let's put on some music. We threw on some Cocteau Twins and some Ramones, and we started walking. It was a 20-minute walk, but that goes by. And we had some fun. Like, we were kind of egging on our friends, or we were kind of like a little ticked off at them because they got the leg up on everything. They were like telling us that they got free parking because his wife works at the college, and they had free tokens to get into the bar/club. In hindsight, it wasn't worth getting like a little ticked off because the club was $5 to get in. We got free parking, but it wasn't like a solid effort. Like, my mistake is I should have just said, like, let's ride with them. I didn't want to be like stuck with them if I didn't want to go home. So I took my car. But yeah, it didn't feel like they were helpful, really. So it ticked me off a bit. My friend was like, no, it's all good. You kind of just have to ride with it. So we got there and we met with them, and we chilled out front of the place for a little bit. It was like a club/bar. We talked for a bit with them, and it was our friend and his wife. And it was whatever. So me and my buddy, we walk off. We say we're going to look at like the prices for some clubs and stuff, and we'll get back to you. So we walk off, and he's like, dude, I get it now. I said, what? You were right. About what? They're kind of like unfriendly. And I said, now, on the inside, I didn't feel it. Like, he's absolutely right to call me out because, like, for the last few times I've been saying, there's a way that I feel about these two. And it's not the friendliest of terms. So I'm like, okay, score 1 for the good guys. I'm not alone. So we go out to check out some other clubs. We're going to check out the Ritz, and it's emo night. You can't jam to that. Like, we're trying to hit on some chicks. We're trying to dance. You can't dance to emo. Or you can, but you're going to be doing the pogo. Like, we need some, like, EDM type atmosphere. So we didn't find anything. We turn back to where our friends were. We bite the bullet. We go inside. And we meet up with them. We kind of do our own thing because now the vibe is, like, ousted. And I make the best of it. I mean, I'm still talking to them because I didn't feel too much that way. Or I could just tuck it in because I got, like, a bit of Libra. But, after a minute of, like, trying to work up the vibe to dance, I kind of just sat down. Because, like, it wasn't a vibe to dance. Like, they put on some good music. They put on The Cure. Who can't vibe to that? But that, I can't dance to that. Like, I need to dance in my room to that. I can't really be dancing in public. Not only because I've never really danced in public to The Cure, but because it's just like such a inward type of like song. So I sat it out. My buddy was making the best of it. He was like caught between this woman and her boyfriend or husband or whatever. And that was the thing, like the dance floor was not many people and it was mostly just dudes. Mostly people having fun. Like I could tell they knew each other or they were just casuals. For me, I would have needed about like 10 more women to fill the spaces to have some pretty faces to look at, because I kept just every now and then I would just like the dudes out of the corner of my eye like eyeing me. So I was like, nah, this is like a metrosexual type bar. It's not my vibe, honestly. So I sat it out. um My friend came up to me a little bit after. He said, "You good?" I said, "I'm good. I could chill." But I was sad. I told him, when we got outside and talked, I was like, "Bro, that was depressing. There's nothing in there." I'm not trying to like dance with dudes or nothing. And he said, like, he agreed with me in the long term. He was like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's no chicks in there." Um, So we stood out there for a bit. A rando came up to us. I thought he was like a schizo or something, but he was just super drunk. He was like, he had the schizo black guy eyes, but he was alright. He just was super wasted and wanted to sit and smoke behind. He wanted us to cover him, I guess. Then we were just talking for a bit, and a chick passed by, and my buddy just catcalled her out of nowhere. I shook my head and inside. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He catcalls a second chick, and that passes by like a few seconds later. And I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" All of a sudden, she turns, I thought, to somebody behind her, like her friend behind her. She said, "Come in with me." And I was like, she has to be talking to her friend behind her. So I look behind us. There's nobody there. She was talking to my friend. My heart jumped, dude. I fucking like lit up like a little boy. I said, "Dude, did she say that to you? That's crazy." He said, "Yeah." I said, "No, there's no way." So I was like, "Dude, we got to go in." I said, "That's your shot. You like get in there and do that." He said, "No." He said, "No." And I said, "What?" "She's got to come out here," he said. Okay, I get it, but I'm against it. So I kind of like run up to the door of the thing or whatever, the bar that she was trying to get into that we were just in. We make eye contact for a flash of a second, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm thirsty. Let me turn it back." So I fast walk back to my friend. I'm like, dude, go in, go in, go in, go in." And he's like, "Nah." So I don't know what happened. I don't drink. I was mostly sober. I was stoned. But he goes up to the door, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna go in. He's gonna talk to her. They're standing outside talking. She can't get into the bar. She's tried 6 times. At this point, I walk up to them because I'm like, okay, they're just talking, so whatever. So I go up to him, and he's telling me that she can't get in. And he told me on the side later that like she had tried to get in 6 times, but like the guy stopped letting her in because she just kept repeating like the same issue, that her key was lost, that she thinks that it's in the club, and they kept saying, "We'll keep looking, we'll keep looking." So they were done with it. So she's talking to us for a few minutes, and like this is it jumps from like the vibe of the night to like a total Pisces energy. It totally starts to be like gung ho. I don't know if you've ever seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but it was a vibe. So all of a sudden with this chick, it's like a whirlwind. We're caught in a freaking like whirlpool of excellence. Cause like she's a trophy. I was like freaking glazed, dude. Her eyebrows were on fleek. Her eyes were like, you know, cherub, man. They just lit up her cheeks. Like if she was, she had a little chin, and she had like, it was a shame because she was wasted. So like her eyes were kind of like, they had that glossy drunk person look, but like they were like, she was bright eyes, She was real cute. And my buddy said she was probably Colombian. It was a shame to me because she was wearing like practically nothing. I wasn't into it, and that turned me off the spot because like I don't really drink, and I don't really like party like Ybor. I like partying with my friends, having Gettys and stuff. Having big parties. Friends of friends. But to be on the streets and like everybody's just clubbed up and stuff, it's just off-putting. So I was already like kind of ready to pack up and like look for something else. But she kept pushing us. She was like, "Are you gonna take you guys are gonna watch out for me?" And just telling us about, "Oh, I lost my key. And she said, "Are you guys gonna party with me?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." And where are we gonna go? It was such a stressful night at this point because drunk people have no bearings. It's not their physical compass. I could have pushed her and been like, "We're going this way," and she would have been cool with it. It's the mental compass, the reassurance, the stopping, the turning in circles. And that's what the night became, essentially. Now, it was also really cool for me, sadly, because I wanted my friend to stick with us, but he kept speeding off. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy about it, like, because he basically was giving me time with her. But to be fair, I really tried to get him to stick with us because she even told me, like, I was talking to her. I was like, well, he's going to take us to the bar. I don't know where it's at. We're all going to go to the bar, play pool, have a good time. And she's pushing me to get him. She's like, go get him. Go get him. So I'm stuck. And this is the total Capricorn experience. I'm stuck. Literally between a fast person and a slowbie. Obviously, I want to stick with the slowbie. And my buddy would want me to, too. Because the second we lose her, she's a fish in an ocean. And she is super, super, like, attractive. I knew that if she was sober, she would just night and day, like, be a total babe. Just the total chick that I absolutely love. Beautiful. So I said, I'm done. I can't keep up with him, and I can't keep up with you, interestingly enough. So I stuck with her. And I'm like, I told her straight up, we lost him for the third time. I said, I'm done looking for him. And she said, okay. That's what was tight, dude. I like that. Like, I asked her what her sign was. She's a Sagittarius. Fuck yeah. That's a go-to girl. She's down for the cause. She said, okay, then let's go and have fun. She grabbed me by the arm. I said, okay, let's go. where are we going? She said, here. She pointed to the club right in front of us. Okay, I see what's going on. This is like a Herman Hesse moment, Steppenwolf, where like she's just my Tinkerbell. she's my Virgil. You know, she's the guide for the night. So I said, okay, I see it. I see it. This is Pisces. This is that Mario Andretti lightning flash. You know, this is it. This is the party. This is the feast of the gods. And it just fast forwards, like it jumps, like she's pulling my chain. She's telling people in the line that like we're excuse me, that we're husband and wife, that we have a kid on the way, she's kissing me. And like that was tight, but like the bad end of it was that she was just getting close with everybody. Like she wasn't she wasn't making out with everybody, or like, you know, handsy with everybody. Like she was sticking with me, but like she was just like all over the girlies and talking to all the dudes. And I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not me. This is so far out of my element. So crazy thing is, I have a wristband on from the first club that I went to, the $5, the Speakeasy. We get up to the ticket guy at this club, which is Club Prana. I'm trying to figure out, I'm pointing at my wristband, because I can't hear anything. I'm trying to gesture to the guy to say, how much is it to get in? I'm pointing at my wristband. He looks at my wristband, he says, oh, you're good, you can go in. I'm like, oh, okay, this is free tonight? And he said, I'm sorry, you're good, you don't have to wait in line. He thinks that the wristband is for this club. I literally thought to myself a couple years ago, I was like, why don't I just buy the wristbands that they put on? Like, I'll just buy like an assortment of those and look at the color that they give people and like, you know, need I say more? So ladies, if you want to save money. So we got in for free. Somebody told me that this was like the $40 or the $50 club. So I avoided $50 park. I avoided $100. So we get in. I don't know how she got in, but we both got in. And we go straight to the bar because she wants to get drunk. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you need to do the opposite of this. So we get there. This is where I get annoyed because she tells me she has her card. She's going to buy her own drinks because I don't drink. We get to the bar. She makes me do all the work, and I don't drink, so I don't know what to get. Okay, what do you want? Whiskey with Coke. Okay. Guy asked me single or double. I don't drink. I don't know what that means. I guess it's double shot. Single, please. Then she calls back to him and she says, no, double. I don't know what it means. I'm just assuming it's whatever. Fuck it. He told me $16 for the shot. Fine. He gets back. I give him the 20. He gets back to me and he says, it's $28 because it's double. I about lose my shit, bro. I'm like rage crying on the inside because I'm like, what do I do? I should have just said to the guy, no, make it a single, but I felt the pressure of like, God, he's doing so much work. He's looking at me like I'm the asshole. I'm not drunk. I'm roped into this. She's the one you want to bust balls on. So I'm thinking about this. And I'm like, okay. Fuck. I can't just do what I want to do and walk off because there's such like a high stake here. I got into the thing for free. He grabs my card. Hours and hours later, when I'm back with my friend, I look at my bank and I'm like, whoa, I still have my money in. Because I have barely any cash in there. I tell my friend, and he's like, okay, tell me tomorrow and look at it if it's the same tomorrow, I'll be amazed. And I am thinking like I got off so easy tonight, it's gonna happen again. I woke up I got home and I looked at my thing and yeah, they charged it. It was just delayed. So I'm on E here. She's happy, she got her drink. We get into the next part of the club, which is where this picture was taken. We're on the ground floor. All of a sudden, she's doing her thing still. She's going up to random people, but they're kind of turned off by her, I guess. Like, she went up to a random chick, and, like, the chick was just immediately walked away. And, like, she kept grasping at the girl, and I'm like, this is weird. This is a turn off, like, this whole thing, but she's kissing me the whole time. And, I could just tell, like, she was just totally out of place. But all of a sudden, she takes me up to the stage. We go front and center. She looks at the DJ, which is the black dude with the glasses in front of me talking to the woman. And she says, like, can I get up there? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is it. This is where she's going to ditch me. Like, I'm the dude. No dude's getting VIP. She looks back at me. Like a babe, dude. Like a babe. She looks back at me. You gotta understand, this never happens. So many different scenarios happen. She looks back at me and she says, come. And I come. Right under that VIP thingy. And now I'm in the VIP spot. Now, the interesting thing is that the floor was black and white. So I instantly thought of, like, the Illuminati, but then I was like, no. This is a people's club. And I thought back to, like, the attire that, like, Native Americans wore. They wore checkered black and white to represent one of the gods, and it's also related to Capricorn, and you'll see why that's cool to me in a second. So we're in VIP. This is where I take the picture. It's weird to me that, like, I vibed more with the black dudes in the EDM club than I did with the friends that I went with to the Speakeasy. I was up there dancing. The DJ loved me. Like, he gave me daps and, like, we just balled out for a second. And it was cool. The girl was wonky, though. She spilled the drink that I bought her. $30 drink, might as well say. Down the drain. I knew it was a fruitless effort. The guy got her another drink, a shot, which was really awesome for her. And just for him to do. And then she does all that, and she knocks over we sit down and she knocks over all the drinks on the table on my pants. And I just had it. I'm still cool because, like, everything's going well. So I brush it off. And that's Taurus for you. I brush it off, whatever. So we're all chilling. We're chilling. I look at my phone and Johnny's calling me. My buddy's calling me because he's, like, just lost. He's wondering where we are. Like I said, I stopped putting effort because he was the one that was walking off from us, and I explained that to him after, and he agreed. But finally, I was like, well, I said, babe, he's trying to call me. She pushes me out forcefully, bro. She's like, okay, go get him. I said, he doesn't want to pay to get in here. He's not gonna get in here like we did. And it's a lot, but she keeps pushing me out. So I'm like, okay, this is it. It's hitting the point where this is like the climax. The fun is done. blah, blah, blah. So all that happens. I get him. I go back in to get her. We're about to leave. I say, I hold on to her. At the split second where we're at the door about to leave, she turns. She lets go of my hand. She goes to the bar. And I'm stuck outside. I try to go back in. The bouncer says you can't. I get it. So, I try to get her attention a little more. She doesn't acknowledge it. So that's where the night ended. For the most part. Me and my buddy walk off. We're kind of like just perplexed, unrolling the evening. All that happens. A little bit more happens. Not much worth saying. We get some food. And we just like unwind and we're laughing and having a good time. So I'll show you guys what I looked at with the tarot. This is 30 minutes. I'm hoping my phone lasts. So these are the cards that I pulled before I left. I had a hard time with my heart picking up the vibe. And that's how it goes. This is why astrology is important as a science, because it's the mind that has to record like the experiences, because the heart is in sync with the planets. So you feel what the planets are like guiding you to feel, instead of what your mind or what the mind behind the stars is teaching you. So I asked the tarot. I said, what'll happen if I go out tonight? You can see here, the first card, here's how I read tarot, and here's how you should read it, sans the explanations that people give you. Just go according to what you ask. Go according to the story that it paints. And pay attention to what the images are saying. You don't have to know per se that like pentacles is earth, that cups is water. It helps. You don't even have to know what the numbers mean. But just look at the images and relate it back to what your feeling is. So I say, what'll happen? The King of Pentacles, upright, which is good. It's saying to my emotional state, there's two ways that I'm feeling. The scepter and the throne, which is business as usual. I could stay home. I could be planted firmly. I could have a good night and doing my usual. But the king is looking down at the pentacle as if to say, what's behind door number 2? So I flip the card and I ask. And it's upright, 7 of cups. If I were to have to go by what the traditional meaning is, what's the 7 mean? What's the cups mean? What does the thing mean? I could do that. Or I could just look at it and I could say the question that I had, what's behind door number 2 in the King of Pentacles, takes the form of the mystery cup in the middle, in the second card. The red veiled figure is the mystery. So it's saying, it's answering to my emotional state of interest and curiosity is the meaning of this card. So I picked the third card to say, well, what is behind the veil? What is the experience behind the veil? Because that's the meat and potatoes. The experience behind the veil is the experience that I'll have. So I picked the 10 of cups. Needless to say, it played out exactly the happy ending. Literally getting like what I've been wanting, which was a fun night out on town, the Piscean adventure, the Pisces adventure. So it came to fruition. I'll show you guys the astrology chart now. Right. So here's the chart for yesterday at roughly 6 p.m. The moon is in Capricorn. That is not party. That is inwardness, that is getting on your knees, doing your chores, doing your work, giving rather than receiving, feminine rather than masculine. That is not the energy of party. Of course, I look at the moon first and foremost because that's the closest planet to us. It's the water planet. It's the planet of weaving. So wherever you see it, that's where you say this is where the cosmic weaving is happening. This is where the front of the energy is. The sun represents the general tone. Certain other planets represent general tonality, like Mars, because they're slightly longer. They're medium term, intermediate term. But the moon is the moment to moment. So the greatest energy is Capricorn, not party energy. Inward energy, David Lynchian energy, black and white energy, givingness energy, maternal at best, and very, very oppressive at worst. This is why the entire night felt like being between a rock and a hard place. It felt like everything was out of reach, right there, but out of reach. That's the Capricorn theme. The Capricorn has to deal with indifference, acceptance. The stimulus, the object of desire is right there. You can't reach it, though. That's what turns creativity into dullness. That is the Uncle Rico of Napoleon Dynamite, who just feels that it's so in reach, except in his case, he's thirsting after it. So that's Moon in Capricorn, not a party energy. It's even conjunct Pluto. That is not party energy. That is bad energy. The dark side of the night was all the frustrating stimuli. I didn't tell you guys, but when we were walking back, we were trying to find the chick because she was really in danger. Like she was drunk on her own. Her key to her car was lost. So we're trying to find her. And this guy pulls up on the crosswalk, and it starts like moving the car, like inching the car, like he's like bullying us, like trying to run us over. And some dude like yells at him he said, "You should have ran them over. You should have ran them over." And I almost yelled at him, but it was a group of like 4 people, and who knows who has guns. Otherwise, I would have totally been down to fight them. Maybe get my ass kicked, but I was so upset by that. But you never know who has a gun anymore. So that was like the energy. That was the worst of the energy. But if you notice, and I don't pay attention to the Chiron, the square. I don't pay attention to the minor aspects here. The best thing is that Saturn was sextiling. That adds a lot of level, a lot of stability, a lot of personal growth too. This is where evolution happens. That's why Janus was the god of January and the god of transitions. Because winter and that time of year is where change occurs. Because you drop the clothes and you say, I'm going to hibernate. This is change. So that's great when it's in a sextile. It means also that you're going to get the maternal nurturing aspect, the great mother, the Aquarian energy, which invites you in rather than excludes you, which is what happens in the square. The other great energy is the Taurian energy, the Taurus energy. The Uranus and Taurus is being trined. That is great energy for open integration, I guess you can call it. Obviously, it's a sign that's related to Venus. The Uranian aspect of it gives free reign, you know. You're no longer attached to like this person belongs to this club, this person belongs to this group, you know. And that's kind of, I see that because I'm also a Taurus and it's on my degree 27, and that's how it went for me. I literally like integrated with the opposite group of what I was in for. So you see like like integrativeness, like open association is what I would call that energy. For the Uranian and the Taurian aspect, because Taurus is a social animal. It's a curious animal. It only wants boundary at the same time. but it is a Venus planet. It is a Venus energy. So free association is what I would call that. The Neptune is also great. That is the greatest. This is what I meant by the night turned Piscean. It went from the David Lynchian Capricorn overtone or undertone, I'm not sure, to the Neptune, the Piscean energy. Needless to say that Aries itself is about liberation and independence. So it's about doing your own thing. That's why we split, me and my boy, from our normal friends. And even then, I split from my friend to be with the chick. And but Pisces energy, and I've explained this in prior videos, it is the energy of the charger. It's the Mario Andretti at best. It is the challenge of space and boundaries. It is the line of force, the thunderbolt that moves the course of things, as per Heraclitus. He says that Zeus's thunderbolt is that. People look at Pisces and consider it as, they compartmentalize it as a feminine sign, a water sign, but it's ruled by Jupiter. And if you know what the symbol means, it is the line of force. It is the wand of power that connects two things to each other. So, and by being a line of force, by being the thunderbolt, it is the libido, the energizer. And that's what happened. It was the feast of the gods. It was in a sextile, which is great. If it was in a square, it would be belligerent. I think it would be belligerent energy. It would be impulsive energy, because of course Jupiter's also the impulsive god. So Pisces, being that type of energy, would be impulse. Not good. Lack of boundaries. It would have been bad. But tonight it expressed really good. The caveat for me is that my Neptune is in Capricorn, so it was active. The cut is that, never the rose without the thorn, is that my moon was squared by the moon and by these energies. And the girl that we were with is that moon energy squared. My moon is in Aries. She was a Sagittarius. So I question that, but it's clear. The moon in its bad aspect, rather than being the patient weaver, the patient space giver, she becomes impulsive, frustrated, hysterical. And though this woman was only drunk, she was rather hysterical. She was impatient. She was impetuous. She was not weaving clothes, but she was taking off clothes. The symbolism is there. Anyway, 43-minute video. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.